The Tucson Gem and Mineral Show is the single finest gem and mineral show in the world. There's thousands of enthusiastic buyers, and the collectors are really fortunate to see an assemblage of the finest mineral specimens, gems, and jewelry that they'll see anywhere on the planet.
Well, this is one of the best gem and mineral shows in the United States. And we do other gem and mineral shows, but this is the biggest. I mean, Tucson has the largest gem and mineral show in the world.
I love his work, I love his colors and all his detail. I think it's amazing. We plan our vacation around the gem show.
The Tucson Gem and Mineral Show is the largest tourism attraction that we have here in Tucson and southern Arizona. And it continues to grow on an annual basis. The number of exhibitors, certainly the number of buyers, and what's really gratifying to us is just to see that transformation in terms of far more out-of-town buyers now than local buyers.
The Tucson Gem and Mineral Society is a local hobby-based organization which has existed since the 1940s. It has become a revenue generator for the society. Those funds support education, programs that we do in the local high schools and grade schools, the educational programs that we do in conjunction with our shows.
Well, this is the junior education area. What we have here is a bunch of interactive demonstrations and experiments that kids can enjoy, as opposed to the rest of the show, which has beautiful things but that the kids can't touch. Here we can show the kids beautiful things, but they can also touch them and feel them.
Tucson's the biggest event in the world for this. I mean, it's by far. I mean, all the great displays, you know, from the museums and stuff. I mean, under one roof, you've got some of the most fantastic minerals in the world. That's what makes it the best.
Usted puede ser dueño de su propio hogar por menos de lo que paga en renta. Llámenos para una lista gratuita de casas embargadas. ¿Quiere vender su casa? En Help You se le ofrecemos servicios completos de bienes raíces ahorrándole miles de dólares en comisiones. También somos especialistas en negociar con los bancos en caso de que ya no pueda pagar su hipoteca. En Help You tenemos un equipo de profesionales a su servicio. Nuestras consultas son totalmente gratuitas. Llámenos. Y recuerde, yo soy María Powell, mejorando su futuro y patrimonio familiar. Hola amigos, bienvenidos a su casa. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. ¿Y qué creen? Ahora tenemos otra personalidad para el programa y estamos con el director y actor Tommy Bull. Así es de que vamos a tener una entrevista increíble. Welcome to your home. Thank you so much for being here with us. And guess what? We are with a great personality, actor, director, Tommy Bull. Hi, Tommy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks. I'm trying to follow you on that. And I say hi to everybody out there, right?
Yes.
And you say...
Bienvenidos.
Bienvenidos.
A su casa.
A su casa.
Yay! Thank you so much. That's great. Well, we are excited. Thank you so much for this interview. We are amazed of all the things that you do. So let's start with your productions. What are some of the productions that you've done that have made a great impact in Hollywood?
Do you want me to start with TV or feature films?
Well, let's do feature films.
Feature films, I have an action background. I'm a world champion fighter, a kickboxer, and I'm a kung fu professor. Mm-hmm. And so I do 28 different systems of martial arts. And so in the action world, it's a lot different. It was an asset getting on a set that has all these different things of action because besides directing it, I did the choreography. And I could run the stunt team as well. And so that was an asset to a production because I saved them a lot of value, a lot of money in the budgets, you know. So I started directing second unit for a while, and I got hooked up on a film. I was cast as an actor, feature film called Force 5. And Robert Klaus was directing that from Enter the Dragon, the director from that with Bruce Lee. And so he brought me in to direct it with him and pretty much gave me freedom to do the whole film. He liked the fact that I was on set and he watched me during everything on set with him and his wife, and then he brought me into their motorhome. And he wanted somebody to do this without an ego. He wanted because a lot of martial artists have this attitude problem. Mm. And so it becomes a difficult thing on set when you're disrespecting people. Some people get injured, stuntmen and everything. They have, hey, that's what they get paid for. So they just go right through them and take them out, And I don't believe in injuries. I like to see them go home to their families. And so I do everything about it. It's high five and hugs. I don't hurt anybody on my set. That's not what it's about, It's not a life-threatening emergency or something. I'm protecting somebody. I don't need to do that, you know.
Right.
And so, at any rate, I got to direct that, and I was a kid. I was in my early 20s. It was like, you know, a hum and a kind of thing to work with a legend like that. Yeah. So I had a great background as far as, you know, working with some really incredible directors and getting to learn my craft. And then I went to NYU. You know, I did 4 or 5 projects, and then I decided to get the technical training, and I went to NYU.
But we know that you've done some amazing productions. Tell us a little bit about it, the ones that people already know.
Again, I was really fortunate. Miami Vice was about between $4 or $5 million a week on a budget, and that's back in the 80s. So you can imagine the difference, the ratio of money from what $4 or $5 million a week on an episode was, which was higher than the entire Miami police force to pay just for an episode. So they were real picky. Universal was extremely picky, and it was. I mean, I don't think there's a series that can come close to that kind of money. Yeah. In today's market, and the differential of the currency is astronomical. You know, that would be equivalent now to like $20 million a week budget. You know what I mean? So you know, it was a lot going on. It was a lot of fun, and I had the privilege. I did 13 of them. I had a blast. They were a lot of fun. A lot of actors every week. They had different actors that were coming that are huge stars now.
Like, mention some of them.
Well, a lot of them. I mean, you know, from one just passed away from I was telling you earlier, the Eagles, Glenn Fry. Yeah. He worked with me on a few. And then, you know, different ones. Sheena Easton was dating him, and so she was on, and she was wonderful to work with. She's a singer-actress from Scotland. Yes. But all kinds of actors that started off then. I mean, if you looked at I don't even remember the preacher that on Footloose, for instance, that was in it with Kevin Bacon. He was on Vice before he was anybody. These actors that are now established, that a lot of them are A-list actors, got their start on Miami Vice. I worked with them when they were nobodies. I wouldn't say nobody. You know what I mean? Nobodies as far as being recognized. Not that they weren't anybody. I don't mean to, so I'll correct that. But yeah. So you know, it was a great time. And I love location shooting. A lot of times directors go into and they'll shoot and they'll use like a studio to manipulate where they are instead of going to a location, whether it be New York or New Orleans or whatever you're going to have. You can do that on a set. I won't do that.
Why?
Because I want the feel. I like to create with I get that energy in the feel. There's nothing like it. And everything culture-wise is different. If you go to New York, it's going to be a whole different feel. The people are different than opposed to being here. The energy level is different. You know what I mean? The hustle, bustle, everything. You know, I think there's more. Everything here is a little bit more laid back. You get acclimated to sitting in your car for 7 hours trying to get someplace. So you better have patience. In New York, they don't have patience like that. No, it's just different kind of. You know, it's just different things, the way they are. If you go to Midwest, it'd be different. If you go to, you know what I mean, they're going to be laid back. Farmer jeans, you know, that kind of stuff. Cowboy hats, everything's different. I want to have that feel for what's there. Whether it's the buildings and the climate, you got you know, humidity, you got cold, you got all kinds of things. I want the feel of where I'm at and showcase it. So that's what I like.
I mean, I can see your creativity just is bursting all over. How do you live?
I love it so much, and I was just out last week, and there was 2 actors that met with me, and they wanted to go out for beer, and I haven't had a beer in ages, and so, and they were like, "What do you do? What do you do when you know on your free time? What do you like to do?" Do you know I didn't have an answer for them? I completely. No, I can't think of anything anymore. I kind of live and breathe this all the time, and I'm very consumed with it. And if not, I'm studying a film. I'm watching a movie because I like to watch what other directors do. You know, there's no such thing as far as I'm concerned about, you know, to compare yourself to another director. I like this if it's a style or something, I don't mind as much. But I don't like comparing to other directors. They have their own style. Right. You know what I mean? There's your own uniqueness, and that's what makes them special in their own way. You wouldn't want to duplicate that. You want to have your own different way of bringing things out and creative. I mean, that'd be like you and I being the same person. We'd have the same mind, creative-wise. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. But for how long did you do Miami Vice? I mean, on time?
Around 3 years, I guess.
3 years?
Yeah, well, I think 2.5, something like that. It was, because it was spread out different times when I go in and do it. I worked on little small acting roles, too. I did on 9, and then but directing 13 of them.
Wow.
And I did several other films while I was there, too. Had a production come in from Italy that I did, a movie with Robert Ginty. I did, and then that was called Cop Target, and then I did a film called Karate Warrior 2 out there. And then I worked on Caddyshack 2, you know, so I did different productions I got. And then I worked on Let It Ride with Richard Dreyfuss.
Wow.
as well, you know. So I had different things going on when I was there, and it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. So then, what was your next big project after that?
Oh man, let's see. Yeah, I dealt with about 70 projects now, so I have to think.
Well, just any project.
Face Off.
Face Off. Face Off. That big movie.
Face Off was an interesting feature film. I got a call out of the blue to come in and redirect all the action segments and that on it. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, it's a huge studio movie. I think the budget at that time, I think about 60, 70 million on that film. And so I started reviewing some of the outtake, you know, different things on it and see what's going on. And it was, I can see where some of the problems were. And the director almost killed 4 stuntmen. Stunt coordinator had words with the director, and he said, you know what, this is what you get paid to do. Yeah. You take these risks. And that was I mean, how do you say that about no concern whatsoever for human life?
You're right.
I don't care what his background is as a director, but when you say something like that to your own team and your crew, and you have no value whatsoever, you know, whether they go home or they're dead, that tells me I don't care what you're doing, you're depending on other people to make you look good, and you're useless in my book. It's not a director. A creative mind has to be free. To be free, you have to care. You have to have that compassion inside of you and that love inside of you for things, whether it's animals, people, whatever. So you have to have some kind of a connection. There's no connection when you can think of people like that don't even care. There's not a connection. So you can't possibly be, you know, connected in a creative sense by any means. There's no way. It's gone. I can't operate if I'm distracted. If I'm upset about something, I can't focus as a director. I have to be left alone and don't mess with me when I go into creative mode. I can't be distracted to anything negative or get me going with anything. It messes me up.
Well, because you need your concentration. I mean, you're talking big projects, and there's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
You need to be free I call it be free in the brain. I work on the set, and I call it, remember the wild world of sports?
Yes.
I call I go on set, I call it expanding the globe. I do this. I'm scanning everything out to see what I can draw from, what I need from it, the energy. Yes. I feel it all.
Oh my goodness, exciting!
It is, yeah. I love it.
How long did it take for that movie, Face Off? Tell us some of the actors that were there, of course.
Well, John Travolta, Nicolas Cage. You know, it had a nice cast in it. And the stunt team came back with me again when I did it. Now I have that stunt coordinator with me now on a project that I have that are coming up. He's right with me, and I'm directing for him on a weekend a whole new segment, starting off a stunt show first. New stunt people coming in, a competition, 8 women, 8 guys. And they go along. Who wins gets to actually get into a feature film in it. And it's all big thing about learning from the other professionals, the pros. Stunts are very difficult.
I imagine that. I mean, that's gotta be tough.
It's very risky. You don't hear a lot what happens in Hollywood where they try to keep things under the brush. They cover it up when they can. Sometimes things leak out, but for the most part, no. And don't fool yourself when these stars turn around and they say, I did my own stunts.
I thought they did, because I've seen some of it.
You couldn't do it if you wanted to. You think about something. If you have a big name star that's on your picture, and he says, I want to glorify myself. I'm going to go out and do these stunts that's high risk, right? You think for a minute the insurance and everything's going to allow that, the bond and all that? No. What happens if that stunt, that actor gets hurt? The entire picture's shut down. And when they use these terms, the show must go on. Look at it, come in. The show must go on. You know what that is actually a fact. Because if I stop the picture, God forbid it's an accident or something like that and I have to leave. Well, think about it. Everybody's still getting paid. The salary doesn't stop because I want to stop it. Nothing stops.
Oh, okay.
You're scheduled from May 14th to June 4th on my picture as a star. I have you booked out that time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to work to get you in and out of those dates so that I don't have to pay you extra, whatever I'm paying you already, which is good, right? Good salary. So I want to get you wrapped. So while I'm shooting that, if something happens and I want to leave, well, those days are booked out and you're paid regardless of if you're on that picture or you're not on the picture. It's like a pay or play type thing. You're contracted for that time, and you're getting paid regardless. SAG has a bond that we put up for the actors, and that in case any of these kind of things, these issues happen to arise. So it's covered, and I don't blame them because if you're booking out a time, that's a valuable time you could have used on another production if you weren't on that shoot, right? I'm taking that time away from you making a living. I better be able to compensate for it.
Wow, that's amazing. All the things that are involved in a production. And I mean, I didn't have any clue on that.
You want to know things I do different than what you don't know about what's going on in Hollywood? You want me to share a few insights with you?
Yes,
I don't have a problem with that.
Please.
Okay. Actors, it's voodoo. You're coming in for a read. You get 2 pages usually, and it's called sides. And so you really don't know what the story's about. You don't know what the movie's about because you're kind of like guessing. You get a little bit of this, and I call it a tease. And so you know, okay, you're playing a cop. You're 35 years old, and there was a bank robbery going on. Okay, here, and you're playing, and your name is Andrew, and you're going to do this scene. Okay. But you want to know more about it. How do you feel for that character? How do you understand, what's going on in there? Does that cop turn into a killer at the end? Does he turn into something emotional? Is he going to be upset? Something happened. His partner got killed. What's going on? And you don't know. So you really don't know how to. And I feel for actors because coming from that background, I understand what they go through to try to get the role. And so. You're not allowed to approach the director. You can't shake their hand. It's like you can't do these kind of things. It's like voodoo. No. You don't mess around like that. You have to be real quiet. You don't talk unless you're spoken to. You can be careful how many questions you ask me. These kind of things. And I don't. So I turn that all around. I go into a room where I see it, there could be 10 actors waiting to come in and read. And I'll just walk right up and I see them studying the lines. I said, you guys know what the movie's about? Of course not. And I said, well, I'm the director. And they're like, right away they're like, uh-oh. And I say, no, what I'm going to give you, I'll tell you what's happening. I'll tell you a little bit about the story so you understand what's going on, and that'll help you. And then when you come up to me, I want you relaxed. If there's something that I want different, I'll tell you. I'll give you the correction I want to deliver the character the way I want to see it presented to me. So stay relaxed and enjoy it. Have fun with it. That's what I tell them. And I take the time. I shake their hand. I get involved with them. And the same thing about way of shooting something. We have these cameras here. We have this camera. Hello. And that's hello. So, okay. If we're doing a scene right now, the difference between a star, that actor, and another actor is that, okay, you're Meryl Streep. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, what would you pick?
Angelina
Jolie. Angelina. Okay, so now we're doing the scene together. So now we may do an over the shoulder, an OS shot here, however we're going to to do things to get the coverage I want to do in the scene. The difference is that at the end of every single take, there's going to be a camera that's going to come up and do this, right close up on you doing your dialogue and your character. That right here, close up in your face. This actor is not going to get it. And I'm a director, and I'm pissed off right now because I should be getting it. I'm the director. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. The star is going to get the close-ups, and it makes a huge difference because now it intensifies the scene. The audience doesn't realize that.
You're right.
And you know what? That's the difference. What makes the star a lot more elaborate, brings it out more into focus, where you got that character, you got that star on your brain because he's in your face, he or she. So if I shoot another actor that's just a day player and I want to help that actor get ahead, I'll give him the extra coverage like the A-list star gets, and that sets them on their journey. Now I just took them on a film. I don't care what the budget is, from here to up here. A whole different ballgame.
Yes. Well, I can see already how they would act a lot more comfortable with a director like you.
I smack them around. No, I'm kidding. No, I have a good time. I really have a good time. And I work with the actors to bring out the best. I've been told that I bring things out in them that they never knew they had until it's already done.
Isn't that something?
It's just how you do things, and you get them comfortable, and and things like this method acting and things that you stay in character.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're going to play some psychotic serial killer, you really don't need to be staying in the character like that. I don't. It doesn't make much sense to me. You got enough time to prep. You need 10 minutes, whatever, to get into character, to do something. Well, you'll know before you go back on. When you were coming onto my set, you got the time to do that.
Right.
Get into your character. You don't need to be living that character. That is like overboard, and I don't care what an actor said. That that's a crock. You don't need that. Does not. You should be able to do that and go into those dimensions easily enough in 10 minutes or so. And you have a feel for it because you're dressed the part too.
Is that right?
Well, if I'm playing a bum, I'll be dressed like a bum. Am I going to feel like a bum? Yes. Of course, I'm dressed like a bum.
Yes.
You got to feel your, you know what I mean? It's the whole art thing, the energy. Yeah. That's same as location. Well, so I want to give it to the actors to have everything. Now you want to be an actor? I can tell. Look at her. She's all. You think she'd be an actor?
You think I could be an actor? What do you think?
Do I think? I think that here's the yes. You know, if you approach it in the right way.
Yeah.
A couple things I don't like about female actors that I have a problem with, but it's not their fault. The thing is not to act.
Exactly.
You take your personality in the role, who you are, because that's your charisma that the audience loves.
Right.
That's what they like about me. In the Hispanic market right out there right now, hi. What do you say? Hello. Right, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
But you take your charisma, you take who you are in essence in the role, and that's what you bring the character to that.
You know, you're absolutely right, because at some point I was doing my show and somebody told me, well, you got to put more energy and move more and all that. And when I did that and I looked at it, and I'm like, that's not me. That's not
Then
me.
it was wrong.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if unless you're chasing somebody or doing something, which anybody could do, right? You're running away to get away from something, you're getting chased or something to that nature. Anybody can do that. That has nothing to do with your comfort zone as a character and who you are as a person. Your energy level and who you are, that's what I focus on. I take your energy, your essence, what makes you that charisma.
Right.
I take that and build that, bridge that into the role, into the character you're playing. So always a piece of you. If you watch any A-lister star, let's take Al Pacino. I'll just throw it out there.
Wow.
Every movie you see Al Pacino in, you'll see Al Pacino in that movie.
You're
Not because
right.
of just his features, his whole demeanor, his things, the way his little things, the way he does, where he turns his head, whatever, his whole demeanor, his charisma, he has it in every single role. That's what sells the movie.
Robert De Niro.
Same thing. All
Jack
of them.
Nicholson.
All
I
of
mean,
them.
they're amazing. And
That's right. And then people don't realize that. So this is the thing you want to have. You want to be able to bring your charisma, what makes you unique, and then put that into the role, detail it into the role.
Okay.
And don't try to act. Become the character with who you are. Bring those dimensions together. And don't try to act. And when you try to act, you ruin it. Because as soon as somebody tries to act, why do you need to act? You become.
Yeah, I look like a different person.
Hey, feel that character. Understand your character. Whatever research if needed, you do it. Feel that character. And
What do you think? Can you feel his energy? I mean, can everybody feel the energy? You are amazing. I mean, you can definitely make everybody jump, dance, or I don't know, act.
You know what I don't like? I found out that a lot of actors, and I did this in the Midwest, and that I taught a lot of acting classes, and I teach directing sometimes. And I'll do some things like guest appearances. I'll do it film school and that. You know, I'll teach an acting class and I'll teach a directing class and that. And then what I find out that a lot of, especially mid-states, they won't take that they could be wonderful actresses.
Yeah.
But the problem is this. You know what the problem is?
No.
If they have a set of morals, they will not do the role. They want them nude all the time and taking clothes off all the time. That's a violation.
Really?
I'm not in the porn industry. I've turned down 7 movies as an actor because I won't do it. You know what women go through. That's what they are. That's exactly what they are. They show up at the awards. They talk about who's got less clothes on and what they're dressed instead of their craft. I find that offensive.
Exactly.
I don't give a damn what the hell they're wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to
That's
see
what
the
we
performance. Anybody can wear that. Anybody can take things off. What makes that special?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. And that's what I think always as well. And even the red carpet and all that. Well, what did they do? How was their role?
And I know I'm pissing people off that from saying this, but you know what? You want to be a role model for kids? Well, don't be running around looking like a, what do you say, that hoochie mama? Put some damn clothes on. You're out, have some dignity.
Right.
And to get the kids in the same thing. They learn from the music, they learn from the actors and everything. That's what sets these old trends in there. And they grow up, they don't have no sense of balance in that. When you strip yourself from your integrity and your dignity, from that kind of thing, there's nothing really else left.
Well, that's why I think in a lot of ways I like the old movies, because there was no bad language, or there was nothing. There was the acting, which is amazing acting.
I did a whole thing with old actors, James Cagney and all that. I'd sit up really late. My father would get a little drunk and a little crazy, and he was pretty mean then. And he'd end up going to bed, and I'd stay up with my mom on an old black and white TV. We lived in the projects, and we were very poor. We were in Brooklyn in the projects and I'd sit and watch things, and I would do the characters from the old actors, and then I would redirect the scenes for her as well, entertain her. She'd be crying with happiness just watching, and she told me when I was little I'd never be able to do this because we're too poor. We're in the projects. She told me this a few years ago, and I sat there and I was like, that's funny. I never heard you say that. But I must have blocked it out and not and not let that penetrate me. It's just, I guess, just one of those kind of things. But you want to do something, you do it. You find a way.
Usted puede ser dueño de su propio hogar por menos de lo que paga en renta. Llámenos para una lista gratuita de casas embargadas. ¿Quiere vender su casa? En Help le ofrecemos servicios completos de bienes raíces ahorrándole miles de dólares en comisiones. También somos especialistas en negociar con los bancos en caso de que ya no pueda pagar su hipoteca. En Help tenemos un equipo de profesionales a su servicio. Nuestras consultas son totalmente gratuitas. Llámenos. Y recuerde, yo soy María Powell, mejorando su futuro y patrimonio familiar. What advice would you give the young actors or young directors who want to be like you? Well,
Don't want to be like me, because I'm too airheaded. I'm too kooky. No, I say this: acting is learn your craft. Nothing is for free. Can I talk on this for a minute? Nothing's for free. You got to work for it. I won't even hire. I work. Everything I do is union anyway. But I don't mind taking somebody and bringing them into something and helping them along. The thing is, I want to see the work. I want to see the resume where you're out taking the classes, you're doing the workshops, you're doing the study scenes, you're doing plays. You're learning your craft. To tell me you want to be an actor and you don't show me anything that you're doing to pursue that is to me a bunch of, well, I can't say one.
Okay.
It's a bunch of Dewey. It's wrong. No, okay. It is wrong. I don't want to hear it. You don't tell me you want to do something. And I was interviewed 2 years ago. What is the difference between an LA actor and a New York actor? And I went, you better be careful what you're asking me now, because I'll tell you. And would you like to know?
Absolutely.
Okay, when you want something for the glory, the fame, my fans, and the elite, I want to be a star. In New York, they'll throw your butt right off a stage. It's about you live for the performance, not the money, not the fame, not the glory. You do it because you are an artist. You're drawn, and that's the difference. That's why there's so many different outlets and different things. It doesn't mean that they're going to find a few that have that same terminology that they want it for the wrong reasons. When you want something for the wrong reasons, you'll never become it.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
It's short-termed. It's short-termed.
And that happens on anything.
Yeah, and never give yourself up to do it. There's too many of them that you call couch casting. And I'm getting so many offers with women now that's offering crazy things to me just to try to get a role. And the first thing I do is tell them to lose my number. Because you just insulted me. I don't care what you do with yourself.
Absolutely.
But you insulted my profession and who I am as a professional.
Exactly. Well, then you want to keep that standard, that standard of being professional. And it's unfortunate. I've seen some. I was doing some, and this is, of course, teeny little pieces of acting that I've had on TV commercials. And I remember seeing girls. You say, I said, I don't want to be like this. On industries it's hard. So what do you think that can be done to improve that kind of attitude towards?
I think you got to, first off, understand, no matter what you do, I think that you should have a balance of, let's just say in a basic format of feeling good about who you are.
Exactly.
Have some pride for yourself. Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with that, you go into a thing where you have morals, you have dignity, you want to have stability in who you are. That builds your confidence. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're more completed and makes your abilities. And it enhances everything you do in life. And I know that from a balance of being a martial artist and all that, all these years, and things that I've done, to live as a champion, and I approach everything that way. I don't compete with other people. I compete with me.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I always say I don't have any competition. It's just me.
That's right.
It's how good I want to get in this and what I do.
Well, you're in the door. You got the career. You got what you wanted to do, and it takes a certain type of person to be able to do this.
Yes.
You have to have a certain kind of confident level to be able to sit in front of cameras like this on you all day long and sit here against another artist and sit across from here where in a sense it's like meeting of the minds. It's a challenging concept in the sense that you don't know what I'm going to come out with, or and the same here. So there's a level of confidence, there's a level of you feel good about who you are as a person to be able to handle it all,
Yes.
So in that being said, you can communicate with a bum on the street, you can communicate with the best of a brain surgeon. So the highest IQ to somebody who may not have one. And if you can communicate with both of those, then you can communicate with anything in between.
So what do you think? I can communicate?
No, I don't think you can communicate at all. I'm Maddie, I'm leaving. No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's part of what, because you don't know what you're coming up against. And not to say you're coming up against something in a vicious sense of the matter.
No.
But like, for instance, you're coming up with me here now. I'm a director. You're sitting here talking with me. You have to have a certain belief in yourself to be able to carry that dialogue and interaction going back, and you're on camera. It takes a certain kind of a person to be able to do something like that. Not anybody can do that.
Hey, you're just making me feel proud of myself.
You should.
I am proud of myself.
There you go. You should feel proud of yourself.
Good.
And nobody can take that away from you.
No, nobody.
There's a level of certain things that I even do. I'll do a movie for $5 million. I'll do a movie if it's right and the right people to work with for $300,000. And I'm talking about the budget. I'm not talking about myself because as long as it's a good script and that, because I enjoy what I do, and I like taking people from here to on sales and that to bring their life up. My cousin told me, don't do that. You got to lose these people. They're going to be coming at you wanting to fund a movie off your name. So there's only a few I would let do that. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's going to help their livelihood. I'm going to put them on the map and do something I can do off my experience and my name and my credibility. Why wouldn't I want to help somebody? Of course I would.
Well, that's why I think you do so well, because you have that heart. You have a kind heart.
Yeah, I wear it on my sleeve, they say. I do. Yeah.
Being a director, you always think of a director as somebody that is almost impossible to reach. I mean, even actors cannot. Like you said, sometimes they are not allowed to talk to them, right?
Well, you're a director's a god on the picture, in a sense,
Exactly.
because they run everything, and they make all the decisions. Yeah.
Wow.
Such a powerful position, and that's why so many people want it. They want it, again, for the wrong reasons.
Right.
To say they're a director, it's the most elite position, but it's also the most demanding. And you better know what the hell you're doing. And it takes a lot. I mean, it takes an awful lot to understand, to be creative and to be a director, to know what you're doing. On the technical and the creative, it's a lot. It takes a lot of time. And I don't care what you're going for school and all this, everything else with. You have to combine all of these elements all together.
Well, your personality helps a lot. You make people feel comfortable. I feel comfortable talking to you.
I can tell.
And before I came here, I was like shaking. I was nervous. I'm like, oh my God, this is a movie director.
She did seem a little nervous.
I did.
I'm talking because she did seem. You did when you first. Maybe because of the parking,
Yes, I guess impossible. Parking in LA is impossible. I was happy that you suggested this place because we were having a hard time over there at this other place. And when you said that, I'm like, yes.
I would have brought Jim to my place. My little dog, he's my little Shih Tzu. He'll start taking an attitude, especially if you start sitting a little close. And if you did that and you touch me, he's like,
yes.
You touch my daddy.
Yes.
It'll think, you know what I mean. He just wants the attention to himself,
Yes. No. Well, this is amazing. I'm just mesmerized by all your knowledge and everything you do. And you can bring a lot of positive to even viewers right now because this applies to a lot of things, to normal life, right?
Yeah,
confidence, how to be.
If you're going to do something to really establish something, you have to learn what that something is. So, in other words, when I got into acting, I did plays, and I'm from the projects in Brooklyn. What do I know about Shakespeare? I mean, think about it.
Yes.
Who on earth talks like that? I don't even understand what he's saying. I did Shakespeare. I played 2 characters, and I did a traveling play for 12 weeks. I was in study scenes. I was doing classes out here, and I was doing all kinds of things. I did improv in New York. I mean, you name it, I did it. And then when I got into the directing part of it, I was already walking into the second unit stuff as a director. And then when I got into more of the technical this and that and combined it to direct with, and I went back 4 years of film school and that. And then you keep going with it. It's something you have to go and deal with, and it takes, acting you can do and learn things. And you can do that on a part-time basis and build that up.
Right.
A director, there's no way. There's so much, sorry about that, I should put this up. Harvey, psychic guy. There's so much involved for a director to be a good director. This is another thing. Same thing with actors. There's levels of actors.
Right.
Well, there's levels of directors too. How are you going to get sales and make a movie? You have to get approved by everybody. So, in other words, I'm directing this movie. I'm going to call an agent to get these actors. The first thing they're going to do is if they don't know who I am already, is research who I am as a director. Am I good for their client? Am I going to do okay with them, or am I going to hurt their client's reputation and career?
Okay.
Then the stars are going to be looking at it. The managers are going to be looking at it. Distributors aren't going to want to touch me if I don't have the credit. There's bonding and all kinds of insurance, and they're not going to want to have it and everything. The investors are going to be like, hey, I'm spending my money on this guy. He better know what's his credit. What's this guy? So you're building as a director a lot different than all the approvals than an actor. An actor, you're just going to do a read for a role. And not to put down an actor or anything, but it's a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
A director, you better know what you're doing and stay on top of everything all the time. You're always in creative mode. You work long hours. An actor comes on the set, does a scene, he leaves. They leave. They're gone.
Yes.
They're home. I'm on the set 12 hours, and then I've got to prep for the next day, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. This person's starting to get me angry. So it's always there's so much involvement in directing, and it's besides that you have to also know how do you get what you want out of the actors. That's also something that's different and unique in itself. And then are you going to be intimidated by an actor? You get an A-list star, and he's going to say, you know what, I don't like what you just said. Shut up, I'm going to do it my way. Are you going to allow that?
Right.
I'm going to knock him out. There's no way you're disrespecting me. I don't care what actor you are. I run the show. You work for me. Yes. And every actor should know that, to respect the director all the time.
Okay, I took some classes to do TV commercials now, and just a little thing. And
I'll tell you something about that in a minute, but go ahead.
And it's amazing, yes, how they teach you to really respect everybody, because in reality, you have to learn. You have to be like that, no?
Let me explain something to you. If you're going to be, if you're acting, and the same thing in directing, it's a difference. It's different if I'm doing a feature film, if I'm doing a TV series, because you got lights mounted, you got everything, you got hook things all over, you got everything in a different kind of format, a way of shooting, opposed to if you're shooting a feature film. And if you're doing a commercial, it's different. Music videos are different. As an actor, the difference between doing TV and film is different. Yes. But doing commercials is completely, everything gets tossed out the window. Why? Is because if you're going to wanting to be a commercial actor, learn to be an.
Yes, well, it's good to know. Bienvenidos a su casa is a TV show about teaching our community, joining cultures, because,
Teaching a what? I'm sorry?
Joining cultures.
Yeah, joining.
And that's the reason why I do sort of bilingual, because I want to capture everybody. But what I want is for our viewers to learn something. Like, I'll tell you, I already learned a ton from you.
Oh, good.
And not only, like I said, not only what a director does. I mean, look at you. I see you're so busy. I mean, you're probably thinking, how many projects at the same time you were saying earlier?
Well, I'm about 6 ahead of myself right now. I've got 12 offers or so or more on the table, but I'm about 6 things trying to collaborate time frames and some I just turned 2 down. And I don't want to hold things up. Some of them will hold up for me. Yeah. And then I have a big project overseas, a World War II movie, a Western movie that working on now. It's coming to direct. The Western I'm going to act in as well.
Oh, so amazing.
Well, when they go, and they're doing their own time frame, but I have to be careful not to get too absorbed because everybody wants my time.
Right.
This is the problem I'm having now, and the same thing even on Facebook. It's like it gets to be crazy.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, I don't even know.
I'm getting private messages nonstop, and I'm like, and then I get them like, well, how can you cancel me? I said, well, because it might be because I'm busy,
Yeah, right. And I just even thinking about and just saying it, I don't even know how you ever answer a Facebook message to me, which I really thank you very much.
I try while I can now, but that's going to go away by the wayside here pretty quick.
Yes.
somebody else will be handling that over at the office with me. So,
which is great.
Yeah, they'll handle everything on the Facebook account. I can't keep doing this. It drives me crazy.
Exactly.
You know, I treat my extras on the set, as I do everybody. You know, I talk to them, and they're part of my family. They're part of my unit making the movie, and I want them to feel good.
And you know what? And that's exactly our philosophy on the show. To me, everybody who works with me on the show is the same. I tell them we're all like a puzzle. If one of you is missing, then there's no show, right? And you're right about what? Tell me.
I don't look at everything as the same because there's certain things.
Okay.
That's why there's different pay scales and everything. There's certain levels of responsibility, not the same, but. There's still people, and they're doing something, and they're doing their part, and they should be respected. And you know what I mean? You should.
Right. Well, you
should have a connection with. You're no better than them.
No.
But our things are different, you know, and that's just the way in life. It's like you say, you know what? Everybody's created equal. That's a crock of, you know what? There's no such. Who do you mean everybody's created? Where does people get off with these comments? It's so dumb. Not everybody's created equal. That's ridiculous to say that. Some people are just lazy pieces of you know what, and they don't care about anything. Some of the people are murderers. They just go out and they'll kill you. They have no sense of value for human life. Or people abuse dogs or kids. How do you say we're all equal? Are you out of your mind? There's no way. Of course not. It's how you build and things which you want to identify yourself as a person and character.
Exactly.
You know, we all have potential to learn things and do the right things and wrong things. We have choices, and a lot of people don't realize what the consequences are for behavior. You know?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, what do you think? Maybe that comes from family or?
Yeah, I think it extends from a lot of different things. Sure.
Okay.
You know, that's why I'm doing the one film I'm doing for Torn Apart. It's a working title, but it's got to do with an alienation of kids and that with the parents, you know, and the custody things that go on and the battles and everything. And it's a feature film. It's got all these things.
That's right. I saw that. Very interesting, and I think it's nice that you do that to help.
Oh, it's going to make a big difference in that. I've already got senators working with me on this, and all kinds of things are coming down to change things around. The courts are in control, and the parents, one of them is taking it really, I mean, it just gets it. It's nonstop. They're broke, and, you know, they're spending money on attorney fees, psychological evaluations, and all these different manipulation games and everything to the other half. And here's something I'd like to, I'm going to share this on camera. Can I do this?
Please.
The one thing I got on the film is what I can't stand is this. You're married to somebody, you have a girlfriend, or whatever it is, and you have a child. You have that child, it should be out of love. Yes, right? So something happens and you break up. Why is it you want to hold the child over the other parent's head? Destroy that child, and just because of the hatred you have of that other person. Look within yourself, because the hatred is in you. It's a fact. Yeah, I could never have somebody I was in a relationship with and hold the child and hurt the kid, hurt her. I'd do anything that I could to help them. I would never want to do things and be vindictive and want to do something out of something like that.
Yeah, you know what? And I've known people like that.
Yeah.
That they are vindictive. And why? Why do you want to destroy somebody? There's so many wonderful things that you can do. Mm-hmm. Why do you have to destroy or a woman or a child? Because sometimes, and I know it's both sides.
That's right.
It's both sides.
That's
yes,
right.
exactly. But I've had an experience many years ago where just because didn't want to be there, he was like, I'm gonna hurt you this way, and I'm like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, and this is where the courts make all the money, because it's an enabler of the court system, and they're going to suck it dry. The attorneys and everything, they don't care. They're going to feed off of this. And the sad part of it is that here's what they do, and all the research come out. They'll say, okay, we have a child, right? We have a son. He's 5 years old. I get him for right now because I can afford him in this and that, so I have temporary.
Okay.
Okay, you're okay with a little bit of SNET. All right. Well, then they set the dates, and I start playing the game. So I want you to get I don't think you're really mentally prepared to deal with the kid, with our son. So I want you to get an evaluation. Mm-hmm. All right, that's like $25,000 up to $25,000. Do you have that $25,000? And you're paying your attorney. So, excuse me. So now I'm in a sense raping you of all your income. Now I deplete that. That gives me another power trip to the next level. Now we go back to court 8 months later. And what do you think the judge is going to say? I'm going to say, oh yeah, little Timmy's doing really good. He's got A's and B's in school. He's established. He's good, and he's he's got his room. He's doing good here at home. What you got, woman? You ain't got nothing. Zilch. Oh, the judge says, well, little Timmy's doing good over there. He's fine, he's functional, he's doing okay, and he's in school, and he's doing this and that. We're gonna leave Timmy where Timmy is. All because they delayed the court system 8 months. And now what right does a judge have to sit and say that, make that about this kid's life and the parents, to break that parent's heart? Exactly. So these things I want change. I want to see the changes, and I'm using the film for a tool to go in and start doing things. I've got a fundraise where I'm going to have the DVDs I'm going to issue to the courts, family courts, so they get to see the movie. The movie's got a balance of everything. What effects do that kids have? Kids are going to do different things. So I have a daughter and I have a son, and they both do different things, behavioral patterns. That's not good and stable. And it shows at Grandma's house, because Grandma's involved in this too. Grandma's going to take a side. Isn't Grandma usually going to take a side? That's my son, that's my daughter, whatever, and then it gets bigger. So the kids are into things, the parents are into things. I'm going to showcase the dad being what he is, showcase mom what's going on with that, everything and all the interaction, what's happening within the family unit that I want for the film, and because the film's an entertainment, right? So I still want it's released as a theatrical release. I can't, it's a feature film, so I have to go on an entertainment phase with that. So when it's released, it's for entertainment. But I want a mission, I want a statement in that. I want the purpose of what it is and the characters and the structural things where people are going to relate to this, because if you don't have it in your home, you're going to know somebody who does. If you have children, if that kid is not going through it, the kid's going to relate to somebody who's going through it. I'm telling you, it's huge, and it's worldwide. I've got a fan base now, millions of people, millions. And this is another funny thing about it is that besides doing the changes and going in and doing things, I'm going to go in. I have letters from senators that are going to work with me now, and we met at Feinstein's office too. And I don't know if they care too much about it. She's a little bit airhead, but anyway, it's just the politicians are really difficult to deal with, because they'll promise you the world and then backstab you, put a knife right in your back. So I have letters from senators now. They want my celebrity status to help benefit them on election and everything, Of
course.
Oh, you want that? Good. I need something from you. It's called, that's right, it's a contract. It's a letter, a binding letter. And and now I have something. If you lie and misrepresent yourself, I will expose it to the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Giveth, I can taketh away. Media, it's powerful. So this is going to be good. I want to help families and do things with that, with the film. Right. And that's the best thing to do it, because you know what it is when you do a film and it's the entertainment, it's universal. We all speak the same language. Whether you're in Mexico, whether you're in Spain, whether you're in Italy, it doesn't make a difference where you are.
Yes,
it's you know what I mean? It's universal. We speak that same language. We get absorbed. We get entertained. We go, and I call myself a public servant. I look at myself as a public servant. And they're like, public servant? You got to be kidding me. You're a director. I didn't say I wasn't a director. I said public servant in the sense I have a film and I take your time away from which you can be doing something else productive. You're never going to get those 2 hours, hour and 40 minutes. You're never going to get it back. No. So I want to do something good that you're going to entertain you. I want you to enjoy,
Yes.
And so I look at that as like, in a sense, like a public servant. I have a responsibility to people.
Well, that's why you do so good. And you're going to do good, and I can see all these things coming up for you.
I don't stop. I'm just like a machine. I don't stop. I have to rest up a little bit before I start the next one. I really do. I got to try to relax a little bit. So I go 7 days a week nonstop. I do.
So
I love it. What? No. I'm interfering. Okay. I'm going to take charge. Hear me roar. What? Go ahead. What?
Well, now, so tell people.
You're lovely. What?
Oh, thank you. Tell people about Tommy Bull now. What's going on with Tommy Bull's life?
I don't really have one. No, I don't know. It's just my work, really. It's just I'm really focused on. I'm just mainstreaming some great movies right now. It's like I'm destined to, I'm at the point in my life and my career where I am on a knowledge level as to what my gifts are. It's like I'm a veteran. I'm trained. I'm able to deliver my vision and what I want, and so I'm where I need to be right now to launch and do it right and do some nice, really good projects. And people know who I am when they come in here. It's like, I'm an actor. I said, we all.
Do they believe you?
They walk up to you. I don't mind people coming up to me, asking, talking to me about stuff. What I can't stand is when they take the phone and they go, when they're taking pictures and they got the film thing going, and it's like then I get annoyed. I don't like that.
Okay.
I'll stop talking. Anybody wants to, I have no problem whatsoever with it because that's part of what.
But you do.
And I think it's a luxury what we do to be recognized and people like what you do and respect what you do. I think it's very flattering. It's nice, So I kind of live for that because the feedback with people, that's what I thrive on that.
Well, I really think in a little way that people who are in the media should, get close to people because
that's right.
In my opinion, they have a lot to do with us being, us, just to be you, being...
No, she's already right there right now, ready to talk about confidence. No.
With us, it's true. It's
that's
true, but I like to...
You're saying it right. I like what you're saying. You're absolutely right. It's... owe it to them. We
Absolutely.
So if somebody says hi to us in the street, we should be rude and not say anything back because we're being disturbed and annoyed.
Right.
There's boundaries. That people should have a little bit. Just understand boundaries, and and if you're respectful about it, I don't see any reason why. That's all I ask people to just be respectful. If you want to walk up and say something to me, fine. Don't stick the camera in my face.
Right.
If you want to take a picture of somebody, ask me. Don't just do that. That's a pet peeve. I get mad.
Yeah. Perfect. He's having like a 5 seconds of being kind of calmed down. But now, talk a little bit to our audience. Tell something to our audience, or say hi to our audience in Tucson.
I want to get to Tucson. I don't know how you guys handle the summer. I could not handle the heat there. No. I went to flight school and I was in Emerald, in Prescott, Arizona. It was nice, but you know what? It gets hot in the summer there too. And I'd fly out of Phoenix and drive down. It's 100 miles down, 105 miles, something like that, if I remember right.
Right.
Oh my God! I don't know how you guys do it with the heat. I can't stand the heat.
Well, in Tucson, we get up to 120 degrees.
How much? What?
120.
120?
Yeah.
See, I'd rather live in Alaska.
No.
Yeah, I could not handle that heat.
No. Well, people are not on the street. Everything is
where do they go?
Conditioned. Well, the buildings and everything. Plus, the difference in the weather changes if you are underneath a tree. There's really not that many trees, but it changes, right? Like 20, 30 degrees down. And then we have the mountains. You can go up there.
Well, yeah, but it's like, I'd have to be in the car first thing in the morning and go to the mountains. Well, what's the point of coming back? So in the summertime, you have like 3 or 4 months of the heat, right?
Yes, really hot stuff. But at nighttime, it cools off pretty nice. Yeah, it's not like a hot day and night. No. 70.
Well, I'm going to their houses with cold water so I can stay underneath the cold water and just not come out because I couldn't deal with that. Air conditioning, cold water, yeah. The colder for me, I like it cold.
You like it cold?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like heat. I'm not good at heat at all. And I was in Florida when I was doing my Vice and all that. I hated that. Summertime, oh man, yeah, I don't like humidity. You have a difference in Tucson. You don't have the humidity, right?
No.
But in Florida, it could be 85 degrees and it's real humid. Where you guys have it, I don't know, 7,000 degrees and it's not. So what's the difference? The lesser of two evils, right? It's like heat is heat. Hello, people. I don't do heat. Well, I don't like it. I don't want to fry my brain. If you can cook an egg on the street, think about this one. The noggin's going. I'm not doing that.
But like I said, no, we're not on the street all the time. We just
you want to be able to walk on the street and not, pass out. If it's going to be, lizards and scorpions and that, Tommy ain't playing that.
Well, what do you think of Tommy? Isn't he amazing? And you're giving us a lot of fun.
Who?
You.
What are you asking?
No, I'm just telling people.
Oh.
I'm just telling
I'm teasing you.
he's just testing me to see if I could ever become an actress, which I don't know that.
Yeah, you got a wonderful person. You're really good. You're a good interviewer. I like you.
What?
You make it fun and pleasant, so
much.
that's a joy, It's because you got to relate. The personality's you got to have that kind of flavor to you and that tone.
Yes.
Some people are just boring.
Yeah.
I've done enough of them.
So I'm not boring?
No, you're not. You're good. See that?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Tony, we are extremely thankful for your time.
I'm grateful.
And for allowing us to do this amazing interview. My viewers are going to be ecstatic.
Can I get you guys on a show when I'm directing? When they come out on location out here? Would you want to come in and view it? See if they come back. Call in and see if you'd like to see on set. I'll bring you on set while we're shooting.
Really?
Yeah.
Calling who?
You tell your audience in Tucson. Those guys out there, hello. Edith. Okay. It's like, who guys? Them and there, and that little camera, that lens.
You do it.
Want me to do
it? Do it for us. Yes, please.
Call the station and speak to our lovely host here and tell them you'd like to have her on my set on location so you can see live how we're doing things and make a movie. And come join me. I'd love to have you come in to be my family.
Well, what do you think? Is that like a beautiful Christmas gift, something like that? Thank you so much.
Sure, love it. That'd be great. Love that.
So,
call in.
If they call me, then I'm going to give you the contact information. So if you want to be...
Look up Tommy Bull on Facebook. If you can get through, send me a message.
Facebook.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tommy Bull on Facebook.
And I'm gonna put your Facebook on our
yeah, I'd like to. I love the interaction when I can say hi. I go in and say hi to everybody when I can, you know.
And believe me, he's great. I mean, he's responded to all my messages and stuff. So we're gonna. Plus, we have Tony Bull for a long time, right?
You know what would be nice? They call into you to get you to come on my set, okay, and we view that. And then I'll make an appointment out there to come out and meet them in Tucson.
That? Oh.
And I get hugs. They give me hugs. That's my only condition if I'm going to go there.
Okay, hey, you better work on that because we want Tommy Bull in Tucson.
Meet some new friends, meet some lovely people in Tucson. It'd be wonderful.
Well, thank you so much.
But my pleasure, sure.
Education area. What we have here is a bunch of interactive demonstrations and experiments that kids can enjoy, as opposed to the rest of the show, which has beautiful things but that the kids can't touch. Here we can show the kids beautiful things, but they can also touch them and feel them.
Tucson's the biggest event in the world for this. I mean, it's by far. I mean, all the great displays, you know, from the museums and stuff. I mean, under one roof, you've got some of the most fantastic minerals in the world. That's what makes it the best.
And we are now with Tommy Bull here, and I just wanted to thank you very much for the interview you gave us. And I wanted to ask you how you feel with it. Do you feel comfortable? Feel good?
I feel a lot more comfortable holding this thing, but I know that you did a great job with the interview. I'm very happy with it. We went overtime, so obviously I really enjoyed it. Yeah, you did great. You're a great host. You know, you have a nice personality, easy to talk to, and you get relaxed and you have a good time. Go for it. So it was nice, and I love connecting with your city out in Tucson. I think that's nice. First time I'm doing that for some time. I haven't been to Tucson in a while.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to reach out to audience and that. And like I said, I invited you to come on set. So I hope that you call into her office at the station, and we'll get her out here on location, and we'll do a. You'll see some of the setups, and that will go live on it, right? Well,
yes,
you know, tape
absolutely.
It, but, yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and hope
Thank
to.
you. Maria, thanks so much. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. So we'll do the next segment.